Hello and welcome to Bellview Winery. I'm Jim Quarella. I'm fourth generation here at Bellview Farms.
Bellview was started in 1914 by my great-great-grandfather Angelo when he immigrated over from Italy. I worked for a little while, purchased the land that we're now standing on. It was 20 acres of woods that they slowly cleared and started to farm. And over the generations, each son left his mark on Bellview, grew different crops, and in 2000, my mother and father, being the fourth generation to work our land, transitioned us over to a winery and vineyard. Planted 3 acres of grape and put up a little shop here in Landisville, and I'll be the 5th generation to tend our land. Started out with 3 acres of vineyards with Chambourcin, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Chardonnay, and at this point we're up to 45 acres of grapes that span 20 different varieties.
Our 2018 vintage, we processed over 280,000 pounds of fruit. That puts us up over 20,000 gallons of production, which is over 100,000 bottles.
Our winery is situated right in the middle of the Outer Coastal Plain, which is South Jersey's AVA. It encompasses over 2 million acres and includes a lot of different wineries and vineyards in our area. The characteristics of the vineyards in the Outer Coastal Plain are that they have sandy and loamy soils. All of them are very close to the Atlantic Ocean, which has a huge effect on our climate, and our summers and winters are more moderate than in other regions.
We grow over 20 varieties now. Now that's a lot of varieties, but our industry is pretty young in this area. Even if it's a couple hundred years old, it's still young. And there are many good varieties out there that need to be tried in this area. But through the years, we will be focusing on the varieties that are doing the best for us and narrowing that list down.
We grow over 20 varieties of grapes in the vineyard. Among them are many names that you're familiar with, like Chardonnay and Merlot, Cabernet, but we're also growing varieties like Chambourcin and Vidal Blanc and Tremonette, things that we find are more suited to our soils here.
Also, we try a lot of the new varieties that have been either selected or bred through the years to be more sustainable, to have excellent wine qualities, and to adapt to our growing conditions better. So with global warming, we're seeing we have more extremes. So we have hotter weather in the summertime, we have more rain, we have colder incidents in the wintertime. So we need varieties that can survive through all these different changes.
And those varieties have properties that make them a lot easier for us to grow in the vineyard and are a lot better for the environment. They require less spraying, they require less fertilizer and less inputs, which makes them not only better for us growing the grapes, but for the environment.
But when you take a new variety and put it in excellent growing conditions and grow it with the same input that you do any top quality wine, there's great potential there.
Our mission is to produce the best quality wines that we can from our grapes grown here in southern New Jersey. Not only to make the best wines, but also to make it from grape varieties that are the most sustainable in our area. For a lot of our vineyard operations, we've started to mechanize, meaning we're bringing in different pieces of equipment that do a much more uniform, consistent job in the vineyard and take a lot less time. Within the past few years, we've started to harvest our grapes mechanically using a grape harvester that's hooked up to a tractor. That saved us an immeasurable amount of time. What used to take 40 hours will now take 4. And when there's a hurricane barreling down on us in September during hurricane season here, the time is really of the essence. And it's important that we can get out there and harvest grapes quickly before a storm comes in or something else happens. Our first vintage only had a handful of wines in it. But through experimentation in the winery and in the vineyard, and as we found new varieties that worked for us, we added more wines to our list. We make over 30 different kinds of wine here because there's a lot of different wines to play around with, a lot of different styles of wine that we wanted to make, but because we also want to have a bottle for everybody when they come in. All of our wines are estate bottled, which means that all of them are made with grapes that we grow here in southern New Jersey. Our winemaker, David Gardner, has been with us since pretty much the beginning. He started out in the vineyards, tending the vines, and as the harvest season got on, he started to work in the winery a little bit, and eventually, over the years, with tutelage from my father, he took over the mantle as head winemaker. Dave has really done a wonderful job here at the winery. His style is to emphasize the variety that he's making itself, rather than to add a lot of flavoring, whether it be oak or something else. He allows the flavor of the grape variety to shine through. Over the years, our wines have proved that they're not only loved by South Jersey natives, but also by those all over the world. We've gotten gold medals in California, in Finger Lakes, and other competitions that show that our wines deserve a spot on the table next to those of any other great winemaking region. We host many different events here at the winery over the year, the biggest of which is our Seafood Festival in August. We do a variety of concerts throughout the year as well, where we have local bands come and perform. One of the most interesting events to attend is our harvest party, because there you can see all the equipment that we use and all the different things that we do to make the wines that you taste. We're open 7 days a week here at the winery. You can come in anytime between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. for a tasting. We have 30 different wines for you here to try, either in bottle or on tap, and there's a lot to do here. Come take a tour, either with myself, my father, or our winemaker David. We'll take you out to the winery, we'll take you to the vineyard, and show you how it is that we make our wines. Our wines are available here at the winery, at different restaurants and liquor stores and outlets throughout South Jersey, and online as well. Head to BellviewWinery.com and check out our whole portfolio and see what it is you might like to try.